Hi everyone, it's Anne Marie Julian Wetzel. I am a Close to My Heart consultant and I'm so glad that you've joined me today. I am going to share with you a card that I created this past weekend at a card buffet. And it's a fun card, open center here, you can see. And we created this card with the 3 different elements to make it. And I easily did this with using one of the Close to My Heart card bases. So I'm going to show you how I did that. But let me first explain what I did with this card, and we're going to do something a little bit different with the card that we're going to make today. So here I used our white jelly pens and outlined the triangles and did zigzag, and then used our red Christmas stickles for embellishments. Now these stars were from a card kit earlier in the year, and to create these pots I ended up using our hexagon die cuts and just cut them in half. So super easy for that. But for these trees, I used what we have is our Triangle Tree bundle. So here is the stamp set. It gives you a variety of the different size trees that are going to fit in to these thin cuts. Now, these thin cuts are temporarily out of stock, but they are temporarily, and they will be back in soon. I have a gut feeling they'll be back real soon. And once they do, I will let you know. And then in addition, we have the stencils. It's a 2 double stencil that can be used individually, or you can layer them with all of the different designs, very similar to the stamp set. So you have options. These are all available individually, or you can get the whole bundle. Again, the bundle is temporarily out of stock because of the triangle thin cuts being temporarily out of stock. But again, hopefully they'll be back soon. So let's get started, because what I'm going to do here is use this stamp set, which is kind of very similar, but I'm going to use it. We're going to heat emboss it with white embossing powder, and then finished designing the card. So let's get started. Again, I had everything pre-cut for this kit, along with little instructions. Put those aside. And I have my 3 triangles cut and some embellishments that we'll use to create those trees. Now what I need to do first, we're going to emboss first. So I'm going to set these other pieces aside, and I'm going to make sure that my trees are all the same tone. Our cardstock is 2 tones, so you can see this is a little bit lighter. And I want to make sure that I have the same tone on each of them. And because we're embossing, I am going to use our anti-static pouch to ensure that I don't get embossing powder places where I don't really want it. And I'm putting it on the back side, using the back side of my Versamat to help with the stamping. So I'm taking Versamark, going to stamp that tree on each one of these, and then center it up here. Hopefully I got a good center. There's 1. 2, and let's do the last one. 3. All right, I'm going to set these aside. Get out our white embossing powder. And I keep that transferred into a container. Let me grab my tweezers to hold these. And because these are just small enough, I can just do it right over. Make sure I have enough cover there. And set that over here, because we're going to move our embossing, or our Versamat, because I don't want that to melt once I take that heat gun out. All right, 1 more to go. And it's okay if I missed a few little spots, because again, we're going to cover this with stickles to make it look like ornaments. Let's try to get this corner here. All right, set this aside so the gun doesn't blow it all away. And again, I'm just going to move my Versamat out of the way. And let's heat these up. There it goes. See how it's changing? That's the magic with embossing powder. Love it. So lots of different options to use this for. You can stamp it, or you can use the white gel pens. You can do them in gold embossing, you know, various colors, gold, silver, whatever you like. When I place it down, I see that I've missed spots, so now I got it. There we go. All right, so now we're going to just set these aside. But let me pull them up. So, aren't they cute? Nice, shimmery. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, let's get some stickles on here so we can at least get them to dry a little bit. Just going to shake this up. You know what? Actually, I've changed my mind. I'm going to put the stickles on after, because then when the card is all done, then I can just set it aside. I don't have to wait to put these on. All right, so I'm taking the card base that we have, and I'm going to take my paper trimmer. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yep. And I am cutting 3 inches from the bottom of the card base. And then I'm going to take 1 1/4 inches from this and cut. So for the pieces that we have, let me move this out of the way. Let me show you how this is all going to go. This piece, which is at 2 3/4, so let me just confirm that now. 1 3/4, sorry. 1 3/4 by 5 1/2. That's what I cut this piece at. And that's what this is also. So we're going to put that on top of there. Might have to just trim it a little bit because I cut off. And then this is at 5 1/4 by 1 1/2. And that's going to go on the bottom half. That's how it's going to sit in our card. Then this top piece, this is at 1 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now we cut this off at 1 1/4, so we're going to trim this down by 1/4 inch. And then we're also going to trim this, because this is at 5 1/2, which is what our card base is at. And we're going to trim that to 5 1/4. And now this is just matting the cards. Let me just set my paper trimmer over. So again, this is going to fit right up there. So let's adhere that. And then again, we cut this down, And that's going to go there. But before I put my trees on, let's stamp Deck the Halls. I'm going to use Scarlet ink. And Deck the Halls is from an older stamp set. You may have the stamp set. I can't remember how long ago, within the last couple of years. But it has Merry Christmas, Deck the Halls, 'Tis the Season, and Peace and Joy. I'm going to stick with Deck the Halls and put that on this top. Make sure. And I'm just going to guess, but put it kind of in the center up here, but close to the top. And there we go for that. Set that aside. And then that will go centered on this piece here, which is our top portion of our card base that we trim down. And now we're going to do this. And this is, I'm keeping this here just for extra stability, to keep it from, or to help it stand. Oh, I didn't want to do that, because I don't need to glue that on. But I'm going to have to clean that off. Hold on a second. Actually, I don't have to clean it off because I have an extra piece right here. Haha. This is what I wanted to glue on here. Sorry for that small error, but I had an extra one set aside. Make that easier. So this is extra for, and then this again is going to go here. And this is older close-in heart paper, and just using it up. All right, so now, again, do not put adhesive here. I'm just lining this up here, but I also want to put a sentiment inside. So if you've noticed here, I did put a little sentiment inside. I'm going to be taking another sentiment. This is from one of our card workshops, the Evergreen card making, and it says good tidings and great cheer. So that is what I'm having here. I am seasoning it because I have not used it yet. And I'm just going to put it centered down here. All right, so again, this is going to be placed here. And then I'm going to start taking these little pieces out for our embellishments. And we should have 3 stars. We should have 3 of the half hexagons. And then we also have the tree stumps here. So for the trees, I am again just going to take my white gel pen and put a line down each side just to kind of coordinate with the tree. I'm going to do that on all 3. Love these gel pens. They come in a 3-pack and different points, 0.5, 0.05, 0.08, and 0.10 for the thickness. This is, I'm using the 10 here. All right, so we have that there. And now I'm going to adhere our little pots to hold our tree. This is cut from our mix-in paper pack. should have moved this a little bit down. And then put the little stump or the tree base on. And then I can press it down for some stability there. Put that in there too. The tree's going to pretty much cover up the top part. Okay, so again, this still is not adhered down because these are going to hold this together. And what we're going to want to do is put adhesive on the bottom section of the tree. Now again, whatever object you choose to do, just make sure that you're knowing that you're not going to put excess glue in the middle of this. And I'm going to make sure this is lined up, stays lined up. And I'm going to put that. And then again, I'm putting the tip again. If I do have a little bit excess on the back, I can always go with my rub and erase and do that. Remove it. Almost done. And there we go with our 3 trees, and that is how it stands. All right, so let's add our little stars, and then we'll do the stickles. But again, I'm gonna have to keep that set aside and let that dry. But I'm just taking some 3D foam tape, some of the narrow, and just add those stars to the trees. And then we'll do the stickles. So your creative challenge, should you want to participate, is to post this in the comment section on my Facebook group page. So my Facebook group is Scrap and Roll. And I will put the link in the comments section. I'm going to do this one first so I can just make sure that I'm not too high up. And then if you're not a member already, come and join, and we'd love to have you and create your creation using this, having it open. Again, it doesn't have to be Christmas trees. You can do ornaments, you can do snowmen, you can do stars, and you really can do just 2 items. You don't have to do 3 items to create this. But here we go, and let's get that stickles going. I'm going to just make sure that I don't have any excess glue on here, and this is the section that I was checking, and I don't, so I am good there. I think that one's almost empty. I think I need to use this one. Just going to squeeze. There we go. I'm just gonna do it kind of like in a triangle. They don't have to be on the lines, just randomly placing these. Some can be bigger, some can be smaller. All right, there's the one. Let's try to see if I can do this a little bit faster now. Very fun. But again, just make sure you set this aside to dry. Now, if you don't want to use stickles, there's also the option of using enamel gems, little small gems, glitter gems, whatever you have in your stash would work. And then you don't have to wait for it to dry. But I felt this went really well with the stars. And I don't have too many red gems. So this is the method that I chose. Almost done here. And there we go. Let's lift this up without making too much of a mess here. Give you a closer look. Again, so join my Scrap and Roll page on Facebook and participate in this creative activity and make your own card and share with us your inspiration. Thanks so much. Bye.